This is a video from a YouTuber called Visual Venture, how cancel culture destroyed entire generation. And you see, he's already got the Me Too movement up here. So for his video to be worth anything, he's got to admit this is women attacking men via social media. The new technology allows women to do what they always wanted to do, attack men. If he doesn't get this right in this in this video, he has failed. Okay. And before we get too far into it, he even shows a case where a young girl committed suicide after being cyberbullied by other girls. So it's a exercise in social dominance by the female gender of the population. So let's see if he gets that right. Okay.
That's not an attack to just stop the Oscars. That's an attack to end me.
But the past is relevant with you with underage girls.
Absolutely no, it's not.
Fair. I think
I'm sorry.
Can always hold our
I'm sorry. You're also putting a hierarchy over who can be offended. Now I'm offended.
The story that was being told about me won, even though it wasn't true.
That's not activism. That's not bringing about change.
Yeah, I see an awful lot of guys there. Also, Barack Obama. He's a man of high position. Why doesn't he do something about it? Why is he like all these other people just complaining about it? Because he knows his place. He's a guy, he knows his place in the dominance hierarchy.
Life!
If someone somewhere in the world will find what you say offensive, so what? Who cares?
Someone tweets a little joke that's misunderstood and their life is ruined. And
okay, so you hear that in the background? Visual Venture has already failed. He's got a bunch of begging in the background. A joke is misunderstood and you lose your career. No, the joke isn't misunderstood. The joke is an excuse for these women to go after these men. That's how it should be framed. He's already misframing it.
they get fired from their jobs. That's awful.
So I wanted to start this documentary by defining the term cancel culture.
Cancel culture, the definition is women getting men fired. If he doesn't get that right, the video's a fail from the start.
It's the practice of publicly rejecting, boycotting, or ending support for people because of their morally unacceptable views or actions.
Okay, so he's failed. Because in his video, when you watch this, he's going to show a professor over here who got fired for doing nothing immoral. So for him to show that and then give this definition means he's now spreading misinformation. He knows better.
Basically, it's a modern form of ostracism, which means to exclude or banish from a group or society, which dates back to ancient Greece.
Okay, now he's got it all over the place. He's misdirecting it. This is a massive failure.
Webster correlated the rise of cancel culture with the Me Too movement.
Exactly. It correlated with Me Too, which is a bunch of women using social media to attack men.
Hi, my name's Tarana Bird, and I'm the founder of the Me Too movement.
Thousands of women are using 2 words on social media to identify themselves as survivors of sexual harassment and assault.
There you go. So we know that what this is. It's been demonstrated. Visual Venture, you just demonstrated what it is. So why did you give that wrong-headed definition earlier? It's based on female social dominance to attack men. That's it. Now, this is going to be interesting. Who deserves to be canceled is going to be interesting.
What's so bad about it?
A young boy, R. Kelly, is accused of abusing.
Anti-Kelly rallies outside of Sony Music headquarters in New York.
Comedian and actor Kevin Hart is stepping down from his duties.
I have made the choice to step down from hosting this year's Oscars.
And apologize for your tweets of old. We're going to have to move on and find another host.
This is not me. I'm fighting for my
There are two cases I want to bring up. Let's take a look at the timeline of R. Kelly's demise.
Okay, he's bringing up two cases. One he's going to say is worthy of getting this, being canceled, and the other guy isn't.
In 1994, he married Aaliyah. The catch? He was 27 and Aaliyah was 15 years old, but faked being 18 on the wedding certificate.
Okay, now did R. Kelly know her actual age? I don't know. But if he didn't, then why should he be punished? Because some young girl lied to him and wants to bang him.
In 2002, he had two other court cases which involved illegal acts with minors, and the cases were settled with R. Kelly paying a lot of money to cover them up.
Is he covering them up? Anyone can accuse anyone of anything. Michael Jackson was accused of things, and it's just easier for them to settle out of court if they have a lot of money. That is not an admittance of guilt.
In the same year, he was charged with 13 counts of producing illegal child videos, although there wasn't enough evidence to find him guilty.
Okay, so he doesn't deserve anything then. I can't say he's not guilty, but that's the assumption I should make, just like I make it for anyone. If you can't prove the idea, Visual Venture will even show and complain later on that this should be proven, innocent till proven guilty. And yet here, in this case, R. Kelly isn't being proven guilty in court. And he's going to use him as an example of someone who should be canceled.
Gloria Allred, the lawyer who represented several of his victims, explained that of all the predators I have pursued, R. Kelly is the worst.
I would sue her because, pal, they're not victims. You can't say they're victims because the courtroom case didn't prove anything. So, I mean, why are you doing this?
Finally, in 2018, R. Kelly was canceled. #mute R. Kelly.
Why are you showing bars? R. Kelly wasn't jailed, was he? He was just hashtagged.
Now, let's take a look at the second case.
How you doing, Kev? How are you, big dog?
What's up, fam?
All right, Kev, you're the man.
In July of 2009, Kevin Hart sent out a series of tweets regarding homosexuality. Fast forward to almost 10 years later, on December of 2018, Kevin Hart was announced as the Oscars host. Within hours, Twitter users began reposting Kevin's old tweets and jokes saying that he never apologized for them, therefore should not be allowed to host the Oscars.
Okay, so basically saying that Hart here doesn't deserve to be hashtagged. Why not? Why shouldn't he be? Both are cases of people avoiding the legal system. So it's either good or it's not.
Articles upon articles were being formed about Kevin being homophobic and unwilling to apologize for it. And on that note, Kevin Hart stepped down from hosting the Oscars and proceeded to apologize.
By the way, all these comedians are cowards anyway. He didn't have to step down. They would have to force me to. They would have to fire me. But these guys always do it. They step down, they apologize, and then they come after them anyway. Every time.
And apologize.
I had to address it when I did Get Hard promo.
So basically, a Visual Venture, you don't mind Hart making jokes about gay men, but, young girls throwing themselves at R. Kelly, that really got under your skin.
With Will Ferrell because of my joke that I had about my son.
And apologize.
I had to address those tweets in 2012.
And apologize.
Haven't apologized for your tweets of old.
Yeah, it's a bunch of women exercising social dominance over guys, and they love that. So you don't apologize, of course. Now, we'll get further into the video. Learning from mistakes. But this shows you that visual adventure doesn't know what he's talking about. There are no mistakes here. These women are getting men fired on purpose for bad reasons. So there's no mistakes.
Who are they to tell me what I can and can't do?
I mean, we're better to hear different ideas and argue.
As the cultural shift toward political correctness has swept through our society.
See, a lot of guys talking, isn't it? Why guys talking? Because they're the ones getting zapped. But against all these cowards, so what if they talk? This is what these guys should be doing, these celebrities, these male celebrities. They should be working together on a legal and political level to get things changed, to get these cyber bullies, arrested, to have legal consequences. That's what you should be doing.
The expectation for us now is to be socially aware. People broadcast their every thought, and we hold people accountable for what they say online, but it doesn't really work that way. The main issue with cancel culture is that it does not allow people to learn from their mistakes. Individuals are...
Yeah, again, this is not a mistake. There's nothing mistaken about this.
Humiliate a person with the support of thousands or sometimes even millions.
A 12-year-old classmate jumped to her death a month ago. A sheriff in Florida has arrested 2 girls ages 12 and 14 on felony charges of aggravated stalking in a case of cyberbullying.
Now that's important. And why is it important? Because it shows you, again, female dominance. This young girl would not have thrown herself if boys were bullying, but also these boys. Let me show you something. This is a video of mine. A 15-year-old boy takes his own life after his girlfriends turn on him. He was bullied by his crowd, and the girls didn't like him, and they had their male allies go after him. These girls were not arrested when they caused this boy's death, and they weren't even expelled from school, even though the school realized it was this young fella didn't do anything wrong. So it goes to show you that the legal system will only perform if girls are being affected. That shows you visual adventure, this female social dominance in any society.
Charges of aggravated stalking in a case of cyberbullying.
Here's the summarized definition of cyberbullying according to stopbullying.gov. It takes place over digital devices and can occur on social media and forums.
Doesn't matter about that. What matters is the intent. Women use social dominance to attack other men. They just happen to have social media to do it. The source is the intention.
1 and 2. It violates the principle that our justice system is built upon, innocent until proven guilty.
Really? So when you said that, why earlier did you paint R. Kelly as someone who deserved to get hashtagged then? When you admitted also that the court system didn't find him guilty, yet you decided that he was worthy of being hashtagged. Okay. The misinformation effect shows he doesn't know what he's talking about. There's no, well, it's misinformation, but it's the purpose behind it. It's not misinformation, it's lies. It's women lying about men. That's how he should be framing this. Women lying about men.
In 1951, students...
This is unimportant. Get by this right here.
But now the entire world through social media. Bad news spreads like wildfire, but
this isn't bad news. You call it misinformation, right? So it's not bad news. It's lies being spread by fire.
As we've seen in the study, it spreads even if it's fake.
He's professor at Evergreen State, and he called the race-based demand, quote, a show of force and an act of oppression.
Read your letter, and your letter didn't sound racist at all. It sounded very well thought out. The inflammatory response to your letter was so disturbing and shocking.
The administrators sided with the protesters, even though they knew full well there was no evidence of racism.
There you go. Now, this is something you should be pointing out, Visual Venture. The administration sided with these people, even though they knew it was a lie. This is the source of the issue, and the administrators are older people. They're not a part of this generation. They're not a part of the new generation. Women pointed at this guy and told a lie about him, and the people, men and women, were allowing that to happen. They were going to support that. So what you see here, this is modern day lynching. It's just that it takes on a different form, and it doesn't stick to a particular race of men. It includes all men. So that's what's going on. These are modern day lynchings. And the source of the problem is female social dominance, because these females pointed the finger at this guy. They said he's guilty. Everyone knew he was innocent and punished him anyway.
I was pursued as if I had said something egregious, allowed the world to see that this isn't about guilt at all. It's about power.
You see this?
Exactly. It's about power. And who is the power? Who has the power in this?
Happened in the incident of
I see a lot of young girls.
Evergreen State University's professor Brett Weinstein. He made national headlines for being racist.
Said some racist. I did not. I did not.
Once a year, this university
Yeah, see, a lot of young girls here.
allows students of color to take a day of absence. But this time,
Really? The students of color, I see a lot of pasty-faced young women here. So if this is about students of color, how come I see white girls here? So what you're showing is who really has the social dominance and who is attacking who and for what reason.
it was flipped. Rather than telling people of color to stay away for the day, they told white people to stay away for the day.
I bet that white girl you just showed got to stay.
Weinstein didn't believe in this flip, so he wrote a letter against the new policy. Because of this, 50 students showed up to his class protesting that he was racist.
Bearded man with his hands on his head is Brett Weinstein.
But they were wrong.
They imagine that I am a racist and that I am teaching racism in the classroom. The story that was being told about me, in the end, won, even though it wasn't true.
His intentions were actually to help the cause because he felt that the former option of allowing students of color to stay away for the day.
He wanted to help the cause because he doesn't realize it's all a lie. Men don't want to deal with the fact that women don't like them and they're hostile to us and they're willing to tell bold-faced lies to harm us. That's his problem. Men are like this. Heads in the sand.
The day had a more powerful impact. But at that point, no one would listen. The videos went viral, and after being professor for 14 years with not a single incident of racism, he was forced to leave.
How? It doesn't matter. The social media doesn't really matter so much. It doesn't matter if the videos went viral because the faculty knew he was innocent. So the real problem, Visual Venture, is the fact that his own people turned on him. That his own people were willing to lynch him at a woman's word. This is the source of the problem, female social dominance.
This is just one of the thousands of stories you can find online. There are millions of people who stand up for something they believe is moral.
You're giving into the frame again. These aren't people standing up for something they think is moral. They didn't get that professor fired because they thought he was racist. That was a bold-faced lie. So you're giving into their frame, their lying frame. He was a man. They found out they could fire him and get him fired, and they like that. It makes them feel good to exercise their social dominance. So you have failed miserably in your video.
But in reality, they're misinformed. This is the problem of mob mentality.
This has nothing to do with mob mentality. They are mobbing, but this has to do with the hostility the average woman feels for the average man. And the average man just accepting it and not willing to deal with it.
If someone somewhere in the world will find what you say offensive, so what? Who cares?
Shut up, Gervais. What a beggar. Now, see all the men he's going to show here. That was one man. This is two.
Someone tweets a little joke that's misunderstood and their life is ruined and they get.
It's not misunderstood. It's an excuse to get after the guy. So these guys, they still can't deal with the fact that basically as a sex, they are not liked.
Fired from their job. That's awful.
I have no interest in gender or race or anything like that, but everyone else is kind of.
Another beggar, number 3. And by the way, notice all the gender neutral terms they use. They always talk like we people, like those people are somewhere out there. If it's just of those people, how come they have so much power to get these guys canceled? Because it isn't a particular group of people. Well, it is. It's the female portion of the population.
Kind of calculating, is this the exact right mix? To me, it's anti-comedy.
Times are changing. And
number 4, I know Josh here, or Tosh, or McIntosh, whatever he is, he got socially dominated too.
With it, comedy as well. The limit that someone can joke about is becoming more restricting. Comedy, whether that...
Number 6, I'm going to include number 7, that's John Cleese. He does all these begging too.
Stand-up or a Netflix special requires freedom and flexibility. A comedian has...
Yeah, well, this is bullshit. This has nothing to do with the freedom of comedy. These guys are getting hashtag whether they're comedians or not. So it has nothing to do with comedy.
Generation is changing. Generation Z, those...
No, they're not changing. The only thing that's changed is the technology. This particular group of man-haters has social media to work with. But the man-hating has always been there. You know, the suffragettes were in the 1800s.
Ages 9 to 24 represent 1 in 5 US residents. But there's a subsection of Generation Z that's one of the most powerful and influential groups today. They're called iGen.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong, and I've shown you wrong because you in your own video showed the Me Too. The hashtag Me Too. So this has nothing to do with iGen. These are feminist, and Me Too has shown powerful, and these are older women. So it has nothing to do with this generation at all. It has everything to do with the sexes.
So what makes iGen so powerful?
They're women, that's it. They're female. If they're young girls or older women, they have social dominance. Because as you notice, when they get these guys canceled, all these people are nobodies. These women have no positions of official power. They don't have any high-ranking jobs or positions. They're just female. They put their voices together on social media, and these guys are just punished, period. So visual venture, you just have to deal with the fact that women have social dominance over men, and the only way things are going to get better if men actually work together and see to fight politically and legally against this sort of thing. We have to at first admit what's happening and who's doing it and why they're doing it. It's women doing it to men because they enjoy doing it. And so men have to come to terms with that. And so this is why I have to bring up and debunk this video of yours. Your video is a complete failure. on all fronts. Thank you.